Pro Football Hall of Famer Terrell Davis is accusing United Airlines of a, quote, disgusting display of injustice, saying that he was handcuffed and removed from a United flight in front of his family over the weekend. His attorney says that legal action could be taken. Davis says during the flight from Denver to Orange County, California, he lightly tapped a flight attendant to ask for a cup of ice for his son. He says the flight attendant shouted, "Don't hit me." When the plane landed, he says 6 FBI and other law enforcement agents came on board and handcuffed him without explanation, questioned him, and then let him go. Now, United Airlines has apologized, they say. They say they're reviewing its policies. Terrell Davis is here with his wife, Tamiko Davis, and their attorney, that's Parker Stinar. I'm glad to see you all. You know, when I heard this story, it just sounded so unbelievable and so out of the pale that I couldn't quite understand what had happened. When you say lightly tapped, your young son asked the flight attendant for the ice.
Yeah.
Set the situation. You're going down, the flight attendant's going down the aisle with the cart?
Yeah, going down the aisle with the cart. Asked my son if you for
How old
drinks.
is your son?
He's 13.
13, okay.
13. And so my son simply asked him after he had served me, he said, "May I please have a cup of ice?" And the flight attendant didn't hear him, so he pushed the cart past me because I'm in the aisle. And I reached over lightly. I put my hand up first, and I was trying to get his attention, and he didn't see it, so I politely tapped him on his shoulder. And when I did that, he swung his arm around. And he said, "Don't hit me." And
Were you surprised that that was his reaction?
Oh, absolutely. My hands out. I was like, "What are you talking
What's your definition, Terrell, of a light tap? You know?
That's a light. I'm tapping my wife the same way I tapped him, just to get his attention. That was it.
So you were surprised at that reaction?
Yes, I was. I was very surprised at that. But then, he rushed to the front of the plane. He left the cart there. But I didn't think anything of it. Like, okay, whatever. He had his little moment there, but...
Did other passengers say anything?
Yeah, one passenger in front of me turned around and said that you didn't hit him. He said, "I saw it. You didn't hit him." I was like, "Yeah, of course I didn't hit him." And so I thought nothing of it. That was it.
So when did you all realize there was a problem?
When we landed in Orange County, and they told everybody on the plane to remain in their seats because they didn't give us they didn't say why.
They said everybody.
But I thought it was because there was a medical emergency. I had been on planes before. I've seen that before. They say stay on the plane, let paramedics come on, and then you get off.
You didn't think it had anything to do with you.
I am reading a magazine at that point. Reading the magazine, my kids are over there, my wife's over there, and all of a sudden you can kind of hear, you can hear all the gear and the walkie-talkies and a lot of commotion. And I peeked into the aisle, and I see all the agents. I see FBI on the jacket. I see the green, I think it was the Orange County Sheriff Department.
Yeah.
And they were walking back toward the plane, and as they get closer to my seat, they come straight to me. And the agent walks up to me, and he leans over, whispers, "Don't fight it," and put the cuffs on me.
He said, "Don't fight it"?
Don't fight it.
And put the handcuffs on you.
And that moment, I felt all of my dignity. I felt powerless. I felt embarrassed. I felt like, what the hell is going on?
Yes.
I didn't get a chance to explain what was happening. He didn't tell me what was happening.
Did you think that you were being handcuffed because of the ICE incident, or did you think what?
Yeah, I didn't know.
You didn't know?
I mean, when I thought about it, like, could this have been because of that?
Tamiko, what did you think? Because were you aware that there had been an ICE incident?
I was not aware of any incident.
Yeah. So from your point of view, the agents come on and arrest your husband.
And I'm curious, just like the rest of the flight, like, what's happening? And I see them go straight to Terrell and put him in handcuffs. And I jumped up and I said, "Wait a minute." And I said, "What are you doing? Like, what?" And I kept asking Terrell, I said, "Is this a joke? Like, are you joking?" I thought, like, what else could it be, right?
Yes.
This is some cruel practical prank he's pulling on me.
No.
And you just have all these emotions going through, panic.
And your children, you have 3 children, ages what, and what?
Our boys are 13 and 11, and they were seated next to Terrell. And our daughter is 9, and she was seated next to me.
So I can't imagine what it was like for the children, too, to see their father handcuffed and taken off the plane, and they said, "Don't fight it."
Don't fight it. No explanation.
Yep.
Well, I want to say this. United Airlines has since apologized. They said this is clearly not the kind of travel experience we strive to provide. We have reached out to Mr. Davis's team to apologize, continue to discuss the issue with them. We have removed the flight attendant from duty while we closely look into this matter, and we are reviewing our policies around incidents like this. So when you hear this, Parker, the flight attendant has been taken out of service. It is under investigation. What more do you want United to do? Because clearly they seem to recognize this was an overreaction if they've taken the flight attendant out.
So, Gayle, what happened here is a false or misleading statement by a United employee resulted in a man being handcuffed in front of his family, his wife, his children, being humiliated, tremendous fear, embarrassment, shock to the family. And he's escorted off the plane because of these statements, which within minutes of law enforcement interviewing Mr. Davis, other passengers, and others determined that it was a false or misleading statement.
Yeah.
But the problem is the scars that took place and the trauma that took place are going to impact this family forever. And more importantly, Gayle, or equally as important, we have heard from dozens of other United passengers that have experienced similar conduct events. And sadly, I don't know why it happened for Mr. Davis. Most of those people aren't handcuffed.
But I see the point you're making, but I do get the impression United was trying to rectify the situation. What did the agent say to you?
Well,
so you're taken off the
FBI
plane.
agent?
Yeah, you're taken off the plane and you're questioned, and then what do they say to you?
Well, after
they
apologized. They apologized, and they said that, listen, if I needed anything, they were there to help. But they realized that what the guy had said, and the biggest problem for me was that the intent of the flight attendant. When you went up there and made that call, your intent was to destroy me, right? And I didn't do anything to him. We never had any conversation.
And you all were trying to go to Disneyland.
We were going on vacation.
I mean, there are so many layers to this story.
Yeah.
Tamiko, how has it affected you and your children? Especially because you guys had no idea that this was even an issue.
Traumatizing. I think I felt helpless. I remember watching them place handcuffs on Terrell and seeing my two sons there. As a mom, as a black mom, raising two black sons, you work really hard to not have your children have those types of experiences. And we were simply going on vacation.
Yeah.
And this is something that we'll never get back.
No,
that moment.
I understand that.
I can't protect my children.
How would you all like this situation to be rectified?
Well, thus far, United's apology has been in response to media inquiries. The CEO has not issued a statement. And unfortunately, apologies and perhaps policy change doesn't take away from the traumas that this family has experienced or other United passengers. Yeah. And they need to be held accountable. We would love to see policy change. We think that's unbelievably important, beginning with a sincere, true apology.
Well, something tells me that this story will be continued. I'm very sorry that happened to you and your family, but I am glad that you're okay.
Appreciate it.
And I hope you do make it to Disneyland. I do hope that for you. I believe you. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.